Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, good things come to those who wait, or maybe good things come to those who persist. I've made videos relating to this topic, hitting it from various angles. I've watched videos by other people kind of hitting this topic from either that angle or the alternate. Read comments on, videos, or actually comments in discussions that I've seen in Facebook groups or, other, forums relating to gaming. And, so I've heard both sides, various sides. And I keep coming to the same conclusion that we can either force the kind of game experience we want, via like what type of game do I want, what experience do I want to have, what kind of character do I want to have, what kind of dynamics, where should the story go, or we can, see what happens, and not just wait for it to come to us to actively participate, but see what emerges, whether it's the story, whether it's the character, whether it's the kind of game experience we want, and even a discussion I had, like I made a couple of videos back, a few videos back, and it was talking about not forcing outcomes as a game master. I made a few of those, but the idea that at least a few people said in comments one way or another, that if the characters go off base or go off track, that they can kind of gently nudge them back to where they're supposed to be. And I'm thinking to myself, I understand the sentiment, but where are they supposed to be? And it's kind of invoking the quantum ogre. And if you're not really sure what that is, it's really kind of a misnomer, because if in the quantum, quantum ogre really would be you're not sure where he is, and so you go look and then you find out. And the example they usually use is like, okay, we've got 3 doors in front of you, 2 or 3 doors. Okay, the ogre's behind one, and you don't know which one he's behind till you start looking behind doors. The quantum ogre is more precisely in terms of what we mean in gaming when we talk about that sort of thing. Is, as a game master, you have an idea of what you want your players to encounter or the direction you want them to go. They're given several different choices, several different doors. It really doesn't matter which door they open. That's where the ogre is going to be. That's the quantum ogre. A little bit of a misnomer the way we say it, but that's what it means. Is we're going to force them back on track, one way or the other. So I'm personally not down with that. But the other things that emerge, so as a game master, my point was that waiting for the real story to emerge, and not forcing it down the path that you think it should be. To me, that's a better thing. That's a good thing that comes to somebody who waits to find out what the story is going to be. As a player, to me, the game experience that that I want, maybe I need to just put some time and effort into it. That's one of the reasons I'm a fan of campaigns rather than one shots or limited number of sessions. Is I understand that there's a game experience you want to get to. I mean, right now involved in a session 0, which we have to. It takes time to do the session 0 because we're communicating back and forth in this little private Facebook group now, talking about like what kind of directions we want this all for one game or mini campaign to take, and that's cool. I've never actually done that where I've really discussed with a group of people, collaboratively, what do we want this story or the game to really to entail. I'm much more used to like a game master being it me or somebody else proposing, okay, here's a system I want to use, here's the kind of story it's going to be, or kind of not story, but kind of a setting or shtick if they give any information at all. And then you're free to participate in it or say no, I'm going to pass. So this is even more collaborative. So it's an interesting first time for me to actually do it that way. So that's cool. But then that said, I think that for us, if this becomes really successful and more of a long-term campaign, the experience that we're looking for will emerge through trial and error, through some time. We'll be able to have some better we'll be able to, we'll know what to do, because we're all kind of put our cards on the table and say, okay, these are our goals. But then that actual experience, that's going to come to those who wait, those who persist. And it's been my experience, no matter what, that real satisfying game experience, whether it's the characters are finally fleshed out, whether everything's kind of firing on all cylinders, that takes time. There's no, for me, it's been my experience in life and in gaming. There's no push button instant, cure or fix, to get to where you want to go. It takes, putting the work in, putting the time in. So that's maybe a little rant on my part, or just a little shtick, or where I'm at. But what are your feelings on that? What have your experiences been? So that's all I got today. love that as a background for action. We were talking in our session 0 about like what do we want to do? Action, romance, horror. What the heck was it? Intrigue. And geez, I can't remember. Oh, military. And put big in action. And I was thinking any kind of action scene, no matter what it is, fighting or doing stuff or running away. I always like to have theme music in my back of my head. Not that I want it playing while we're actually playing in the session, like actually live, but I always have something in the back of my head going on, and so that's just a great soundtrack for action, no matter what it is. That's all I got. So if you watch this long, you got to hear that little shtick too. The end.